Welcome back, pro wrestling fans. Welcome back, IWC. It's your old buddy, the Guardian of Chaos, Big Daddy. And I tell it like it is. I'll say that to say this, coming to you live to tape 25 feet below the surface of the earth. Wait a minute. I'm live, but I am taping this at the same time. Quite the dilemma. Fuck it, you guys get the idea. It's good to be back here at Chaos Corner on Guardian of Chaos, the YouTube channel, for another edition, a special edition on Thanksgiving week for today, this date in pro wrestling history for November 21st. Now, I haven't been here the last couple of days. You know, we're coming off a weekend bonanza extravaganza of AEW Full Gear and, of course, Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling Mania in Paradise, El Ref's Final Count, and then my tapings with the Professor on PWZ Podcast and WON Sports, where we cover everything from pillar to post, coast to coast, border to border, from Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling to the WWE Survivor Series to AEW Full Gear. So I can't thank you guys enough for being here. It's a special week. Be thankful and grateful and humble for everything that we have. Praise to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, because if he's for us, nobody else could be against us. Tomorrow is not guaranteed for anyone in this crazy insanity of 2023 going into 2024. So situational awareness, being prepared, prayer up, have faith, no fear, because we're all going to get through this one way or another. Follow me on all social media platforms, and you know what they are. I'm going to bounce off of X, a.k.a. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Gitter, Gab, Rumble, Truth Social, and I'm going to come back here to Guardian of Chaos, the YouTube channel. So come on back, grab a beverage, grab some coffee, grab some breakfast, and meet me back here. All right, fans, you know how to follow me in real time on X. Twitter, I guess, at Big Daddy GOC, and the GOC stands for the Guardian of Chaos. On Instagram, it's the Guardian of Chaos. On Facebook, there's 2 accounts. If you follow me, you know that. J Brony, for all you jabronis out there, no offense, man, kayfabe, J Brony, and Prodigio Fidelis El Guardian, in honor of my heritage. And, of course, all those other social media platforms. And keep an eye on Rumble. We're about to take over there as well. Almost 1,000 subscribers here. We're this close. 4,000 watch hours. 2,500 videos. Coming up on 500,000 total views. We cover everything here on this channel. One man, unique, unedited, unscripted, raw dog for you, the fans. No paywall, no Patreon, no Super Chat, Venmo, PayPal, whatever the heck you want to call it. It's you and me. I give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I don't have the Oakleys today, so you get to see my beautiful eyes. At least that's what I was told anyway. Again, thank you for being here. I enjoy doing this daily show. I know there's been a couple of interruptions because of live events and things that I've had going on, but you guys understand, and thanks for coming back. Like, subscribe, get us in the algorithm, leave a comment, email me, inbox me, man. I'll get back to you, because I know that 95% of the people that are watching this channel are unsubscribed, but I have the analytics. I know when you come onto my channel, and you know that I know you're fucking watching. And I apologize for cussing. I know I say it every show, but I know that you're watching. Don't be scared. Say something. There's 3 types of people in this world. Those who don't know what happened, those who wonder what happened, and people like the GOC that make things happen. And I say this all the time, and I've been saying it for years. In order to get respect, you have to start with respecting yourself. Once you do that, you open other people's minds to respecting you. That's all I'm going to say about it. Again, stay aware in 2023 going into 2024. Let's be thankful on this Thanksgiving season leading into the birth of Christ. Christmas is right around the corner, and let's remember what that's really all about. It's not about gift giving or anything like that. It's about being with your family and the birth of Christ. So let me not get too crazy with politics and religion, but this is my channel. If you don't like it, you can take the fucking channel. School is in session, down to brass tacks for today. This date in pro wrestling history for November 21st. Into the time machine here at Chaos Corner. November 21st, 1977. At the Mid-South Coliseum in Memphis, Tennessee, where there were over 5,000 fans. The territorial system, especially Mid-South running weekly, really drew a lot of fans every single week. Just like World Class, just like the Deep South, just like Florida, Georgia, the Mid-Atlantic, the territorial system. I really miss it, and that's what we're doing in this day and age in 2023. The territories are coming back, especially here in the greater New England tri-state Northeast area in the shadows of Titan Towers. So here we go, 1977, November 21st, as I said, the Mid-South Coliseum in Memphis, Tennessee. Jerry the King Lawler defends the Southern Heavyweight Championship against Mr. Wrestling, who had been undefeated until that point in the territory. Lawler also teamed with Big Red to win the Southern Tag Team titles from the Wild Samoans. On that same card, Dr. D. David Schultz defeats Ken Dillinger. Sonny King defeats Terry Gordy. Mike Starks goes over on Superstar Bill Dundee. And the tag team of Phil Hickerson and Dennis Condrey defeat Jimmy Golden and Norvell Austin. I have the halls meant to lip this. I feel great, man. I'm feeling pretty good. So I'm praying and hoping that you guys are feeling good as well. Back into the time machine. November 21st, 1978. Tony Gurria and Larry Zbyszko defeat the Yukon Lumberjacks with Captain Louis Albano for the Worldwide Wrestling Federation Tag Team titles in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Go out and check out this one on the network or on YouTube. Captain Lou's performance was one for the ages here. One for the ages. I believe it was Pierre and Eric of the Yukon Lumberjacks, 1978. I remember it like yesterday. What was I in 78? Perhaps 15, 16 years old? What a time for pro wrestling. What a time. Let's fast forward into the time machine. November 21st, 1999. WCW Mayhem has a new pay-per-view replacing, and I don't know if I should say this in this day and age because that's where we're headed, replacing the World War III concept in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. On that card, because it's a lengthy one, so stay with me here, fans. WCW World Title Tournament that night. A semi-final matchup saw Chris Benoit defeat old slapnuts Double J Jeff Jarrett when Benoit hit Jarrett with his guitar after interference by Dustin Rhodes and Creative Control, if you remember that angle in 1999. No, not Kurt Angle. The angle of Creative Control. Who was running the show there? Bischoff and Russo? I don't know, man. The whole Creative Control angle. Also on that same card, Evan Courageous defeats Disco Inferno to win the WCW Cruiserweight title with a simple flying body press. I say it all the time about the false finishes, all the different people getting their spots in, no storytelling, ring psychology. You do your stuff, I'll do my stuff. Take 15 pile drivers, 20 Superman punches, moonsaults, flip flying off the top rope outside of the ring, and people still kick up and no sell. That's the problem in 2023. Don't get me started on what happened at Full Gear and everything, because I covered that on another show, WON Sports and the PWZ with, the professor. That'll be coming out soon, so keep an eye on that, and we'll talk about Full Gear another time. Now, with that being said, Disco went to hit Tony Marinara with a chair, and that was the whole ending there when Courageous hit the body press to win that Cruiserweight title. On that same card, Norman Smiley, doing the wiggle defeats Brian Knobbs to become the first the very first WCW Hardcore Champion. Now, Jimmy Hart, the Mouth of the South, mistakenly hit Knobbs with a garbage can, leading to that victory for Norman Smiley in the first ever WCW Hardcore Championship. On that same card, Perry Saturn, Dean Malenko, and Isaiah, I believe that's how you say it, Isaiah, defeat Eddie Guerrero, Billy Kidman, and Torrie Wilson. Kidman squeezed at that point in an elimination match. Perry Saturn was the sole survivor in that match in an intergender mixed tag team 6-person tag match. We continue in 1999 with WCW Mayhem. Thank God it's not World War III, but who knows where we're headed. This is what I do here. I mix reality in with kayfabe and in with the world of pro wrestling history. You get it, right? I hope that you do. Where am I looking here in the camera? New camera, new lighting, and we know that that bitch is listening. Alexa. She heard me. Continue with tropical thunderstorm sounds. I told you. Didn't I? They're always listening. That's not a conspiracy, that's a fact. Let's get back to WCW Mayhem, November 21st, 1999. Buff Bagwell defeats Kurt Hennig in a retirement match with a buff Blockbuster. Obviously, neither men retired. To continue with the World Championship Wrestling World Title Tournament semifinals, Bret the Hitman Hart defeats Sting via submission using the sharpshooter. During the bout, the total package Lex Luger attacked Sting and hit him in the leg with that baseball bat. Hart then attacked Luger, and the ref disqualified Sting for outside interference. How about that? Let that marinate. However, Bret Hart demanded the match continue, thus the win via submission. Stand-up guy, Bret Hart. The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be? Yeah, perhaps. On that same card, Vampiro defeats Berlin via submission in a chain match using a camel clutch version with the chain. On that same card, Ming, aka Haku, defeats Lex Luger with the Tongan Death Grip after Miss Elizabeth accidentally sprayed Luger in the face with mace. How about that? On that same card, WCW United States Champion and WCW TV Champion Scott Hall defeats Booker T with a simple razor's edge, to my point of what I'm talking about in today's business. Obviously, there was interference in that bout by old Slapnuts, the last outlaw, Double J himself. And another crazy matchup and storylines there in 1999 for WCW. Again, the business wasn't perfect. I don't want to sound like that, shitting on 2023, 2024, because I still love the product. I have the motivation, the passion. You guys see this. That's why I'm here every day. I don't fucking get paid for this. I do this out of love and passion to bring you into my headquarters. And I'll continue to do it, whether there's one person, 1,000, 100,000, or 1,000,000. My over 50 years as a scout, an agent, a historian, a researcher, a manager, a smart. That's right, I said it, a smart, and I'm a mark, and we're all marks, and I'm proud to say it. And of course, my over 3 decades up to this date, still doing play-by-play, color commentary, promoter, hype man, and professional wrestling manager that managed over 25 Hall of Famers, young lions, veterans, heroes, rookies. Check it out. It's all here on the channel from pillar to post, as I always say, and coast to coast. That took the fucking bumps. A la Captain Lou, Fred Blassie, Jim Cornette, J.J. Dillon, Jimmy Hart, Gary Hart. Very few that did what we do. Remember that. And remember what I've accomplished in this business, because I don't talk about it a lot, but I want to push it out there. And the credibility that you get on this damn channel. Let's get back to November 21st, 1999, on this date in pro wrestling history. WCW Mayhem pay-per-view. We're still on that. In this weird matchup, the son of Ric Flair, David Flair, rest in peace, took on Kimberly Page. That's right, former Nitro girl, DDP's wife. And that ended in a no contest. And there were so many shenanigans and chaos, pun intended, at ringside that it was just ridiculous. Ric Flair got involved, DDP, Arn Anderson, and Canyon. This was not noteworthy, but I still have it because it was part of the card. We continue in 1999 at WCW Mayhem. Goldberg defeats Sid Vicious in an I Quit match when Sid was rendered unconscious in a version of Goldberg doing the Cobra Clutch. How about that? In that 32-person tournament for the World Championship in WCW in 1999, the tournament final saw Bret the Hitman Hart defeat Chris Benoit to win the WCW World Heavyweight title. Outside interference, like a lot of the bouts there from WCW in this era, towards the end of the Monday Night Wars, interference by Dean Malenko, the outsiders of Hall and Nash, and Goldberg. But let me note this as I do my research and due diligence, which I always do here on Chaos Corner. This marked Bret Hart's first WCW World title reign 2 years after the Montreal screw job, which we've really been covering here on the channel on this date in pro wrestling history. Back into the time machine, November 21st, 2000. I'm an ass man. I'm not an ass man, but Billy Gunn is. And he defeats Eddie Guerrero for the WWF Intercontinental title in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. This begins Mr. Ass's only Intercontinental Championship reign. Who's now Scissor Me Daddy Ass, part of the Acclaimed. Listen, he's buff, jacked, ripped, like shredded wheat at 60 years old. We're the same age. He's still going strong. Give him credit for that. I mean, he's huge. I like Billy Gunn, but the whole Mr. Ass, Scissor Me Daddy and all that just doesn't work for me. Listen, no disrespect to the Acclaimed. They're a decent tag team. I knew Max Caster back in the days when he was producing for Mr. Vegas, Scotty Wetzel, on Mad Dog Radio. Let that sink in. November 21st, 2005. Listen up to this one. WWE and Vince McMahon announce on the website details of the new drug policy being instituted. This seems to be a recurring theme. Vince met with both the Raw and SmackDown rosters in Sheffield, Great Britain, across the pond, if you will, to announce the details of the new policy. It would be banning performance-enhancing drugs, HGH, so on and so forth, which I don't know how you test for that, such as steroids, recreational drugs, as well as abuse of prescription drugs. November 21st, 2005. Should have did it a lot earlier, Vince, maybe in the early 90s, late 80s. I'm just saying, man. November 21st, 2006. Good old JR, Jim Ross, announces that he has signed a new one-year deal, one-year contract with the WWE on the previous night, which would have been November 20th, November 20th, 2006. How about good old JR here in 2023, still with AEW and in the business? What a legend, good old JR. We love you, Jim Ross. November 21st, 2007, here in the Time Machine. This is another very weird, interesting, and disturbing story. November 21st, 2007. Former WCW wrestler Hardbody Harrison was found guilty of sex trafficking and prostitution charges. He was charged with keeping 8 women as sex slaves in his 2 Georgia homes. He was also charged with aggravated sexual abuse, forced labor, sex trafficking, conspiracy, and witness tampering, facing life in prison. Now, Hardbody Harrison's real name, you had to really research this, was Harrison Norris Jr. He was convicted. He wrestled for WCW in the late 90s, I believe. Serving as his own lawyer during the trial, he stated the women willingly lived at his houses because they wanted to train as pro wrestlers. He stated many of them were on drugs and left in the best shape of their lives. Norris, to be noted, a former Army sergeant and veteran of the Persian Gulf War. What a piece of shit and a piece of garbage Hardbody Harrison, a.k.a. Harrison Norris Jr. was and is. Whether he's in the military or not, you're a piece of goo. Let's jump back into the time machine. How about that for news? And here's another crazy story. Only in professional wrestling. November 21st, 2008, involving my old buddy, historian, pure class and a glass, one of the most incredible, impeccable gentlemen, historian, ran his own company, a reputation par excellence, and that would be one Mr. Sheldon Goldberg, who just released a novel. Unbelievable, Sheldon Goldberg, and what he's done for this business. Do your research. Here's the story from November 21st, 2008. Again, only in professional wrestling. Carney Circus. Independent female wrestler Lexis, who wrestled regularly for Sheldon Goldberg's New England Championship Wrestling and World Women's Wrestling, would undergo a name change. Can you guess why? Anyone? This never gets old with me. Bueller? Bueller? Anyone? Goldberg, Mr. Sheldon Goldberg, received a letter from Washington, D.C. law firm representing the Toyota Motor Corporation, claiming that the name Lexus was an unauthorized commercial use of that name. They claimed it was a misuse of their Lexus trademark. They requested a cease and desist using the ring name. How about that? The letter cited Lexus' one-time appearance as proof of the wrestler's intention to associate herself with the well-known automobile brands when she appeared for TNA. Mr. Sheldon Goldberg, again, class act, responded saying that the wrestler is well within her rights to use the name. We don't believe that any reasonable person, and that's where the mistake was, because who's reasonable in this carny industry? That any reasonable person would confuse the wrestler with an automobile. To avoid a legal battle, because Goldberg has the brain of a scientist, an engineer, all wrapped into one, and an unbelievable promoter. To avoid a legal battle, Goldberg informed Toyota that they intended to comply, and Lexus changed her name using the ring name, and you may know this, Alexis Nevia. How about that for a story? Really? Washington, D.C.? Toyota Motor Corporation confusing a woman's female name with an automobile? Talk about the brain of a dehydrated BB. You can't make this stuff up. This is actual factual information here on Chaos Corner. Back into the time machine, November 21st, 2009. Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair returned to the ring as part of the Hulkamania Tour in Australia, in Melbourne. This was the first of the Hulkamania tours and events that were going around there in 2009 as they try to revive their career. And we know that Hogan, for as great as he was, turned out to be a pathological liar. And Ric Flair is still involved to this day, even in AEW right now, managing Sting and Darby Allin and Adam Copeland. He was at AEW Full Gear. How about Ric Flair? Energy drinks, smoking weed, the whole 9 yards. This first event was held at the Rod Laver Arena with about 7,000 people in attendance, which was only 50 or 60% capacity. But in wrestling and pro wrestling, does anybody ever really retire? Look at yours truly. I've retired and come back more than Brett Favre and Michael Jordan combined. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Back into the time machine, November 21st, 2011. Mick Foley, as Mankind, filmed scenes for NBC comedy 30 Rock. A pretty funny show. And boy, did Mick Foley make the most out of his career, huh? Dude Love, Mankind, Cactus Jack. A true legend. And yeah, I took Mr. Sacco. He kicked my ass. But I got even with you, Foley. didn't I? And I know that you said au revoir to everybody on Twitter, AKX. We'll see you down the road, Mick. Let's go forward to go back and back to go forward. November 21st, 1988. The wrestling landscape would be changed forever as Ted Turner signed papers to finalize the deal to purchase Jim Crockett Promotions. He would rename it to World Championship Wrestling, aka WCW, on this date, November 21st, 1988. Boy, do I miss the NWA and Jim Crockett Promotions. WCW had its run, late 90s, when they had the Monday Night Wars, but it turned into a garbage product at one point. Whether it's history, current day, there's garbage in all the industry at all times throughout history. And that's what I present to you, the fans. Back into the time machine. November 21st, 1987, the AWA at the Cow Palace in San Francisco. What a shithole Frisco is nowadays. I wouldn't want to go there. AWA World Champion Curt Hennig defeats DJ Peterson. In six-man tag team action, Greg Gagne, Ray Stevens, and Wahoo McDaniel defeat Dick Slater and the original Midnight Express of Dennis Condrey and Randy Rose. I'll go with Eaton and Condrey, or Eaton and Stan Lane over those two. On that same card, Adrian Adonis and Tommy Rich went to a no contest, and Wahoo McDaniel won the Battle Royal at the Cow Palace, November 21st, 1987. We'll go forward to go back and back to go forward on this date today in pro wrestling history, November 21st, 1985. Brad and Bart Batten win a tournament to decide the Central States Tag Team titles over the Midnight Express in Kansas City, Kansas. November 21st, 2013. The legendary Mad Dog Vachon passes away at the age of 84. This date in pro wrestling history. Let's get on to happier days on today, November 21st, in pro wrestling history. Happy 40... Oh, wait, hold on. I almost said it. I was going to refer to Bully Ray and what he said to me. Let's not go there. If you are regular fans, you know what I was about to say. Happy 59th birthday to the franchise, Shane Douglas. Today, November 21st. Also, happy birthday, their 40th birthday, to the Garcia girls, a.k.a. Nikki and Brie Bella, turned 40 today. Happy birthday, girls. Also, today, November 21st, a big shout out and happy birthday to the Bloodline, to the legendary Wild Samoans, perhaps one of the greatest tag teams of all time, to Pops himself, Alpha of the Wild Samoans, turns 81 today. Alpha was inducted along with Sika in the WWE Hall of Fame in the class of 2007. So this one goes out to you, Pops, because we've worked together. I know your whole family. The Samoan Dynasty has really helped my career. Everyone, I love all of the Samoans. And this goes out to you, Pops. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Alpha Wild Samoans, Pops. Happy birthday to you. Enjoy your day, legend. Fans, we always have to end on a positive note. We're coming up on just about 30 minutes. That's what I have for today, this date in pro wrestling history on November 21st. Thanksgiving week. Don't eat too much turkey. You don't want to go into a coma or anything like that. Carb coma. I have to hydrate. Oh, little throwback to the legendary Kiss, who's still touring today in 2023. Don't go anywhere. I'm not done yet. All right, guys and gals. All right, pro wrestling fans. All right, IWC. Much love and respect. Tomorrow's not guaranteed for anyone, but hopefully I'll be back tomorrow. And I'll say that to say this because I tell it like it is. Don't you dare miss it.